This is the living room of my house on Broadmoor Drive in Austin, Texas. It is 1982. I am 12 years old and sitting in front of my new computer, a Commodore 64. In the background are flower-covered boxes holding my parents' record albums and the family piano. I am sitting on a metal folding chair. I loved the computer so much that I would sit until my rear end went numb. At the time, my sister Karen, my father Jose, and my mother Joanna lived in the house. My sister, age 10, and I played a lot in the living room. Since the Commodore 64 used a TV as a monitor, we fought constantly between using the TV for the computer and watching TV shows, even though we had a bigger TV in the den and it was connected to cable. After I got the Commodore 64, computers became a regular part of my life. My parents bought the computer for about $300. This was a considerable sum for a family on a modest income, comparable to the cost of a low-end laptop today. Some selling points for the Commodore 64 were that it didn't need a special monitor and had advanced graphic and sound capabilities. I used the Commodore 64 for playing games, drawing pictures, and even basic programming. It is interesting to note that a blank one-page Microsoft Word document today takes up about the same memory as the entire Commodore 64 system. Using the Commodore 64, I learned the power of computers. I struggled through loading programs from a cassette tape, very slow, and got excited when I finally got a floppy disk drive, much faster. Sometimes my friend Eddie would let me borrow his modem and I would connect to primitive bulletin boards late at night through the phone line. This was my first online experience and it was still the 80s. Several of my friends had Commodore 64s and some had other computers. We tried to outdo each other's computer skills with the primitive hardware we had. From these experiences, I gained confidence in myself. Before the computer, I never considered myself a strong writer. The Commodore 64 had a basic word processor that even had a spell check, and I used it whenever possible. I took it to college and used it to write papers and play games in my dorm room. Sadly, it died in 1989, but I graduated with a degree in English. I consider it my giving tree. After my family moved from the house, I never saw that living room again. I did, however, buy a Commodore 64 at a garage sale, so I still have one that works. And I kept my old discs. I'm really never far from my Commodore 64 because, yes, there's even an iPhone app for that.